Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm here with something slightly different for you today. Instead of a shaving tutorial, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how to give yourself a haircut. Just a simple haircut, nothing grand, nothing special. Not going to be doing any pompadours or anything like that because I don't have enough hair to do that. But I will show you how to give yourself just a neat, classic, trimmed up, clean look. And I'm going to be doing it with only what you might find at Walmart. So what we're going to be doing is get our clippers. I think these are Walls. They cost, I don't know, 20 bucks at Walmart, so anybody can afford one of those, and a couple guards that came with it. These guards are very important, so you'll want to use those appropriately. Now, one of the, and you can pick and choose whatever you want, but I'm just going to be showing you how to do sort of a two-layer haircut. So one of the most important things that you'll see, I don't know if it shows up on there, but it says oil blades before using. There you go. You can probably see it. Oil blades before using. Very, very, very important. If your clippers don't come with oil, you need to buy some oil, and then you just put a few drops on the blade, and then you do that number there, and you're going to get a much better haircut if you oil them than if you don't. Now, if you're giving yourself a haircut, here's how I recommend doing it. Cutting other people, you can be a little bit more creative with it. You could do other stuff, but when you're cutting your own hair, things can go horribly wrong in a very short amount of time. So what I recommend doing is start with the longest guard that you have that you want your hair to be. And of course you won't know until you cut it, because unfortunately most guards are just slightly different, and if you're using clippers that you actually change the blade on, that's going to be really different than the guards. But anyhow, I'm starting out with a number 6, and what I'm going to show you is I'm going to do basically the top of my head with a 6. If it's not as short as I want it, I'll take it down to a 5. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start down on the sides and the back and blend it up into that. That's what's going to give you that sort of crisp look. That seamless look is whenever you blend it. So here's what you do. Alright, so you take your clippers, turn them on, right? Everybody knows that. And you just take a few passes. You can dump the hair in the sink. As long as you don't dump all of your hair down the drain, it'll be okay. What I do after I'm done is I fish it all out of the sink and then I throw it into the garbage can. Men, your wives will thank you for that. Now I have pretty thin hair, so I like to keep it just a wee little bit longer on the top, not like weird, you know, old man bald ponytail long, but I like to just leave a little bit more on the top, because whenever you add your product into your hair, that's going to make it look a lot thicker if there's a little bit more length. Now if you get too much length and it just starts hanging on your head, it's not going to look thicker at all. It's going to look really thin and scraggly, and everybody's going to know that you're bald. So you're probably wondering, why is he taking so many passes? The cheaper the clippers, the more passes you're going to have to take. But what I do is I try to start by going sort of back against my hair. You know, it gets it well enough, but with cheap clippers you have to take multiple passes. So you just look for spots that might be a little bit higher. You try to even those out. And I have to say that normally when I cut my hair and I'm not filming, my head is actually down in the sink to keep the hair from falling all over the floor. But you want to take a couple passes forward, you want to take a couple passes across, just to make sure that it's all even, because what you don't want is, you don't want a clump of hair that is significantly longer than the rest of your hair, because if you do, you're going to have to either come back and trim that with the clippers, or you're going to have to trim it with a shear. And I do usually use a shear. A shear is another name for scissors, just to let you know. I do normally use a shear for touch-up, but I want to show you how to do it with just your cheap rinky-dink Walmart clippers. And honestly, that's about where I want it. See, you can actually see, since I cut some of that length off, you can see that I'm really thinning up there. And it happens. But anyhow, next then, you pop that guard off. And then you go to your next guard. And what I'm going to do for my next guard is I'm actually going to go to a 3. And then from the 3, what I do is this. I take my sideburns down and everything. And you just take it straight up. You do not go all the way to the top of your head. You just sort of go off to the side. And then you pull it up. Okay, you don't go clear across, because if you go clear across, you're going to cut this down to a 3. Then that's not going to give you the look that you want. But you just go up, and you come up right around through there. Don't worry, we'll address trimming around the ears in a minute. But you want to make sure that you get everything. Don't be afraid to switch up how you hold the clippers. They will not hurt you. Well, they may. If the guard pops off and you clip yourself somewhere, they may, but odds are they won't. So don't be afraid of them. Now you're saying, what's he doing? What's he doing? He's going behind his head. He's not even looking. He's not even looking. Well, at this stage of the game, you can, as long as you don't come too far up. If you come too far up the back of your head, then you're in trouble. But if you just come up here and then you just pull it up, you're not going to harm anything. Okay? Now I will be honest, I am slightly ambidextrous, so when I cut myself and there's no camera here, I do use my left arm as well, but if I use my left arm you won't be able to see what I'm doing. So, now, I don't know about you, but I get some wispy things here. Make sure that you cut those, just make sure that those are the same, because you don't want those to be like 3 inches long and then the rest of your hair is only ½ an inch long. It's not going to do. That will not do. By the way, clean hair is a lot easier to cut than greasy hair. Just remember that. And if you ever give anybody a haircut, don't give them a haircut when it's greasy. It's disgusting. Make sure that it's clean. Maybe they just got out of the shower, or at least had a shower that day at some point, and make sure that it's clean, because it's going to cut a lot better if it's clean. Alright, so here we are. Alright, and you can see it sort of comes up and it goes like straight up on the sides. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of blending. And there's a very, very, very easy way to blend. If you're doing this at home by yourself, there's a very easy way to blend. They do make blending attachments, but what I find, if you use the blending attachment and you don't really have an incredibly steady hand, you may take too much off. And so what I do is I take it and I come at my head, and then I just bring it straight up to where I want the edge to be, and I gradually lessen the pressure of the blade, or of the guard, as I come up towards my longer length of hair up here. And just give it a nice little sort of rounded shape, because you want to follow the contour of your head. Just increasing the length a little bit, and you want to come straight across like that. Now, if you take your time and you don't take too much off, you will not mess yourself up doing that. Okay, but you got to take your time. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that side, it sort of rounds up. Okay, this side just goes straight up still. Okay, but that's how you blend it in by using this guard. You just sort of lift the razor, lift the clipper off of your head as you go up. All right. I just want to make sure that I get all that. All right. Now I'm going to blend this side over here. Now for me, my hair sort of parts on this side naturally, and so for me I get a little clump here that doesn't quite know what to do. So what I do is I try to teach it what to do, and I rough it up so that it all stands up as much as it possibly will. Then I come up here and I just blend it in with the top. There we go. All right. And as you can see now, this side rounds up and it blends into that longer length up there. Now, if you don't have any friends and you are the only person who sees this face in the mirror, you can stop right there if you want to, okay? But I don't know about you, but I have some friends and I have some family members and I have some loved ones, and I spend time with them. And inevitably, when I spend time with them, I have to leave. And when I leave, I usually turn like this and I walk out the door, which means that you also have to cut the back of your hair. So you say, how are you going to do that? Well, you can go and you can buy a mirror, and I have a mirror, a big square mirror, but you can do that. But if you don't want to, and if you're cheap, and if you're a bum, and especially if you're a bachelor, and if you're a bachelor and you invite a girl over, you don't want her to see a whole bunch of grooming products and things like that, right? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take a mirror off of your medicine cabinet, and every single medicine cabinet has a mirror that comes off, okay? As a matter of fact, they all do. And look here. There we are. There's the tripod, okay? This mirror comes off, and you can actually see right here, you pull that, and that's going to come off. So I'm going to set my camera back up. There we go. I'm going to take my mirror off, and here it is. Very light, okay? Probably because it's I don't know if it's a cheap mirror or not, but it's got like a plastic backing on it. It doesn't have a big hunk of metal or anything like that. It does have some metal on it, but it's pretty thin, and you can hold it. Now, this is not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is a handheld mirror, but if you don't have one, this is how you do it without one, alright? You take this mirror, and you need to look at yourself in the mirror. And as you look at yourself in the mirror, you will be able to see any place that you've missed, and you'll be able to blend that hair right up into the longer length of hair. And I knocked one of my guards into the sink, but that's okay. But anyhow, you look at yourself in the mirror and you just watch what you're doing. And if you notice any longer bits and pieces, make sure that you get those. Take a few passes across. And then blend it up in. And You just want to watch and make sure that you do a good job blending, because this is the part that you don't see but everybody else sees. You might need to tilt your head down a little bit to even all of that hair in the back out. Alright. And there we have it. Now, you know what, not quite. Alright, now, so, here's what we have so far. Okay? Now you're going to say, I'm going to give myself a line in the back of the head, or I'm going to fade it up for nothing. I actually prefer to do a fade where you bring it down and you bring it down into nothing. Okay, I prefer to do it that way, but takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of practice to do a fade. So I'm not going to teach you how to do that today. What I'm going to teach you how to do is just give yourself a straight line across the back of your neck, and it just takes some practice, because when you look in the mirror, it's going to be the opposite of what you need to do. So you have to tell your brain how to cut your hair as you do the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my mirror again, and I will show you how I do that. Pick up your mirror, come down, and then what I do is I just bring it and here's the thing, I have a very hairy neck and back. I can't grow any hair on my head, but I can grow it anywhere else on my body. I don't understand that, but anyhow, you bring it straight across. You don't want to go up too high or else you're going to look like a freak. And then that side is always difficult, so I do switch hands for that. And what I do is I just take it down as far as I can. Normally I give myself a haircut and I'm not wearing a shirt, so it's a lot easier. Make sure that both sides are even. So, looks pretty good. So here is the finished product, and actually it's acceptable. So now what you want to do is you want to trim the rest of yourself up. And if that includes sideburns or around the ears or maybe a little bit down in through here, that's what you want to do. So I actually have an edger that I use for that, but I'm going to show you how to do it just with this. It's a little bit more difficult just because it's bigger. What you want to do is this. Take that ear and you're going to fold it forward, but first you make a little cut right there. Make a little cut right there. Then you bring it back through. You just bring it straight down. You don't want any bits of your hair hanging out over your ears or anything like that. There's a couple long strands there. Okay, so that's good. We do the other one. Then I always bring it down through here because there's some little wispy types of hairs. I don't know about you, but I like sideburns, so what I do is I give myself a little sideburn trim at this point, and I don't like them to be too long. I mean, that's fine, but I usually like them a little bit shorter, so what I'm going to do is I pick a spot on my ear, usually where that little piece of cartilage ends right there. And that's my new line. I just trim it up here a little bit on the side to get it nice and square, nice and boxy. Then I take the other side, cut it to the same point. Trim that up, and actually I'm going to do that sideburn again with the guard just because. Alright, so that is a fast haircut. You just saved yourself $10 or $12 and it looks fine. What you want to do now is you want to put some pomade in there and you want to style it. What I always do is I hop in the shower again right afterward and I just rinse all that hair off because I can't stand it on my body. But you got a nice, clean, smooth haircut. Feels a lot better. Looks a lot better, and that's it. This is not anything stylish. There's no fad involved here. I mean, it's a haircut. But you can add the pomade and you style it and you get it to where you want it to be, and it's fine. So that's about maybe a 10-minute haircut, and you've saved yourself $10, and I think that it's well worth it. So shout out to my friend Steve Palmer. He's a great garage barber, and I recommend him. If you're ever in his neighborhood, look him up. And that's it. Hope you guys have a great day.